We have a panel, and this panel is about expanding your business. If you already have a business, or if you're thinking about starting a business and you're thinking, well, after I started, where do I go from there? This panel is about the kind of issues that arise in having a business and making it successful, sustaining it, growing it. On our panel, we have four presenters who actually are going to speak from the perspective of having a business in technology, in the new economy, in professional services, which is different from the other panels that you had a choice to go to. We have Tiffany Stander. She is founder and CEO of Stimulus. And then I'll ask Tiffany to introduce herself and tell us what she does in a minute, at least for the purpose of this panel, because she wears a lot of hats.
Thank you. So I'm Tiffany Stander, founder and CEO of Stimulus. Stimulus is a technology and media company, and we provide a platform to connect communities to resources such as grant sponsorships and business contracts. And we work with resource providers such as foundations, government, and corporations to help supply them with the tools to deepen their community impact. So we do that in two ways, where we activate brands in neighborhoods, that's events, that's content, those are different campaigns that we do. And then we also provide our opportunity intelligence and discovery technology to make sure that the applicants that they're choosing for those resources are helping them with their ROI.
So let me say this about Tiffany Stander. She's the founder and CEO of Stimulus, but she's done a lot of other things. She's kind of multi-talented, wears a bunch of hats, and Philadelphia Business Magazine or the Business Journal named her one of the, I think, the top 15 women impacting the economy, something like that, some big, very important statement. But she says her company, Stimulus, is a technology and media company specializing in connecting communities for sustainable social impact. Can you make money with that?
You can, actually.
All right, so why don't you tell the folks, how did you come up with that idea, and how do you make money with social impact, not business impact?
So social impact is business impact as well, because it's affecting the communities in which you're living as well as serving. So I've been an entrepreneur now for about 10 years, and started with my company, Prestige Concepts, which is 10 years old. And we focused on graphics and technology solutions, website designs, events as well. So I always worked in the intersection of small businesses, nonprofits, and corporations, working a lot with Comcast, and McDonald's, Paramount Pictures. And they always had this thing where they was trying to connect to the community that they were serving, and then the community that I was working with was trying to connect to a corporation. Hey, we need this grant, hey, we need this sponsorship, or can you help us get a contract since you're working with this company? So I started kind of inadvertently connecting them and creating a database of people that had this resource to give out around this time and were looking for these requirements. Just decided to make it a service about 2 years ago after working with Comcast on a project, and it was kind of difficult just to work with them at that time. And then my business partner happens to be someone formerly at Comcast. And we started to understand that how to grow your community, how to grow your business, whether you're a for-profit or nonprofit company, is obtaining resources. And what are those resources? Those are grants, those are sponsorships, those are business contracts to help you grow. And if you're not ready for a VC or you're not looking for a traditional loan, there are other ways to bring in money for your company. So that's how I sustained Prestige Concepts at times where we were, low on clients, or we were, just trying to maintain the clients that we had. We went after grants. I did grant writing for my clients, for my nonprofits, and then a lot of my corporate events were sponsored, and we paid our team off of that, and I got paid off of that. So we brought in a lot of money in creative ways through our technology solutions, but also through activation events and content similar to Chris, of just working with our corporate partners. So it's like years of focusing on how do you really sustain what's happening in your community and understanding like the Commerce Department and the Office of Economic Opportunity and all those resources that are free and available to you in the Office of Grants here in Philadelphia that help communities, help nonprofits find grants. And there's so much money that's, as they say, left on the table from city governments to foundations to also corporations that people either don't have time to go through, don't have the knowledge of those opportunities, or just don't have the understanding of these 20-page applications that you go through sometimes for grants that are left on the table as well. So sustainable social impact, really impacting the community, that these resources are available, but most people don't go after them or do not know about them.
Were you born like a super wealthy family of a movie star mother and a big director father?
I wish. No, my mom was a nurse and my father, was in and out of our lives for a while. And, entrepreneurship came a little bit after high school. As soon as I graduated high school, I was already doing events, I was already doing marketing. And, ran into someone that asked me and hired me to do events with them because I was doing events very young. And, as soon as their company kind of was in the process of ending because of the death in their family, I ended up kind of taking over their clientele really young and was consulting with them for a while and then turned it into a full-time company. So I had jobs, I was payroll, I was a bartender, I was a little bit of everything. And then went full-time and called it Prestige Concepts in 2009.
So what's interesting is you're kind of saying like you were working in the community. What community is that?
So I've worked in different communities, so I've had different community roles. I've been a political director, I've been a community liaison, I worked with Mayor Nutter on his campaign in community and marketing for 4 years. So I've always been in the intersection of large and small businesses and always knowing that for some reason when it comes to large companies, they can create 101 ideas when it comes to their for-profit side of their business. But when it comes to social good, small businesses, nonprofit, startups, their creativity kind of goes out the window. So we always came up with different campaigns and different ways for them to close that intersection of whether you have a product or service that you're trying to sell to your community, but you still need to understand what your community is outside of what you're trying to sell to them. So I've always had that intersection of knowing the difference between the two.
So all of you here may have an expertise in something that you don't think is worthwhile, that Comcast and Paramount and all these big companies don't want to pay for, don't want to support, but yet you have the knowledge and an expertise, as Tiffany Standard has turned that into not one but several successful businesses. And so let me ask the question that we're all thinking: how do you connect with Paramount Pictures and Comcast from doing events and running around and all that stuff?
Well, one thing I always say when it comes to trying to work with a large company, I come to them with ideas versus waiting for them to come to me. There's so many media companies, tech companies, especially in Philadelphia, our ecosystem can be a little small when it comes to who you go after for business. So for instance, like even starting working with Microsoft, like when I went to them, I knew they didn't have a presence here in Philly, so I offered to do 2 events for them for free to promote programs that I've been following for years. So that started me doing those 2 events for free, then I became a keynote speaker, then a brand ambassador, then I became a client. So it's kind of like an intersection of knowing what they need, offering it to them, because most companies don't offer those things to them. And Paramount Pictures came about, I was doing some media interviews, and I met a lady from Paramount Pictures that was doing a movie premiere at the Ritz. And I said, hey, I would love to work with you on this project. And she was like, oh, well, I've been seeing all your interviews for your radio show. How would you like to help us promote it and also host the event? So I am hosting that event a couple years ago now. So we do on and off stuff in other cities now. So it's really, one, kind of being in the right place, but 2, coming to those large companies with, hey, this is what I know you're missing. Because most companies, and most people think because they're large companies and they have money, they just know, and they just decide to create these different projects and have the money to do them. And most people don't know that smaller companies, small businesses, startups especially, can come to them with ideas and they will give you the money to execute it because they literally don't have time. They have so many moving parts within their department that they would rather have an outsourced company to work on those projects instead of trying to add to the workload of their employees.
Let me ask you this question. The upside, downside, the good, the bad. Is there a good, the bad? Is there upside, downside to be a young African-American woman from Philadelphia?
So just to add to Chris' point, it's depressing at times to be an entrepreneur. Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years, and it's a lot of highs, a lot of lows, and sometimes at the same time. And especially being a young black woman, because when I started, I was even younger. So, and I look younger, and I still look young, right? So it's always trying to explain that I own this company, I'm not the intern of this company, and then being a woman, and then being a black woman. So it's like you have all triple young black women. Right? So it's always those questions of explaining yourself over and over again. And even when you're coming to them with a great idea and a project, it's still them understanding and asking you, can you actually execute it? So it's always explaining yourself over and over again until you execute, and then showcasing your talent and showcasing your clientele. So that's always hard. I don't think that gets any better as I get older, but now my work speaks for myself, and I don't have to oversell myself anymore, and I choose not to anymore, because I can send you to my website, I can send you to my references, I can send you to my social media, and you can really see all the work I've done, and I've put in 10 years. It was me feeling like I always had to explain myself, and then that kind of puts you on the back burner of a lot of things you want to do, because you feel like you're not ready, or you feel like you need to continuously build your resume. But I'm now at the point where my work, my 10 years of experience I put in that time, and I no longer feel like I need to over-explain what I do.
Councilman, can I just jump in to
Yeah,
that
please.
comment for a little bit? So, I've seen Tiffany personally grow her business when you were working with Mayor Nutter. And she is one of those true success stories of Philadelphia, being a woman and being a woman of color. But I don't want people to leave here thinking that because you may be a woman or a person of color or a woman of color that you're always going to have challenges or that it's always going to be obstacles to your path. I think we're in a very interesting moment in time where minority privilege is being more exalted, and there's more opportunities for being the other and being different right now. If you watch television, how many people watch Power or Empire, right? Or, Blackish or Insecure by Issa Rae, or Scandal or any of the Shonda Rhimes pipelines. Like, it's not a coincidence that those shows are becoming popular. They're becoming popular because people are watching them. They're driving business, they're driving money. And they're driving business and money because the demographics like those pictures, those Paramount produced pictures. So all I'm saying is, and I'm sure we can get into it more, this is kind of deviating from the topic of conversation, but all I'm saying is technology, media, innovation, journalism, you have to accept who you are and put that out there. When you put that out there and you are confident in what you put out, you're putting something different, your experience, your journey, your neighborhood, your story is valuable and it sells. And it's a product and it's you. And so always know that there's value in that. And anytime it's right now, there's value in that. Black lives matter, brown lives matter, everyone matters, and they're making sure that they make sure other people know that they matter too. So this is a good time to be different and put that out there. I just needed to,
No, thank you for that. We're going to mix it up a little. Sir, would you stand up, state your name, and a microphone is coming right to you. And if it's a general question, you can ask it. If there's someone you specifically want to ask a question to, just state their name. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Desmond. My question is to Ms. Tiffany Steiner. My question was earlier, you said that if you want to stand up to a bigger business, to come with, hey, this is what I know you're missing, and this is how I can help you. So my question is, what did you come to Paramount and Comcast with exactly?
So with Paramount, I know they were doing a few RITS programs here in the city, and I knew they were trying to get more people to come out, more students to come out, a more diverse group of entrepreneurs to come out to the different filmings that they were doing. So when I met them, as I was in my role of doing radio and media, I just brought to their attention and say, hey, I also have a marketing and branding firm. I would love to work with you for your next couple of events. So we did a couple of events to start out, and then that transferred to me doing that in New York and a couple other cities. So I knew in Philly, we don't do premieres like they do in other cities. cities, right? Like in New York or LA. So I knew Philly was a market that if they get against that the risk or Columbus Boulevard, that it can become bigger because they were not really present here in Philadelphia. And then with Comcast, I started working with them on their Internet Essentials program, which Bridget knows about, which helps low-income, internet for low-income families. And the way they started marketing the Internet Essentials, they started marketing the way they would any other service that was regular price. They would do press releases, they did a bunch of media, and I said, how do you connect to the community and send out press releases to a community with no computers? So I said we needed to create a different type of plan of ambassadors and people that can start using this Internet Essentials, become ambassadors, talk about it within your neighborhood. So whether you put out press releases to the press, that's great, but those people have computers, they have internet, they don't need your services. So you need to figure out a different way to come into your neighborhoods that you're trying to serve. So we created an activation plan. We, got a couple of ambassadors for their program that actually were using Internet Essentials that can truly talk about it and say, I love it or don't love it. And then they put out a campaign with the school district, and the school district sent out information to different, students and parents saying, hey, this service is available. And they've been doing well. And of course, media and press is still important because you want to talk to the message of your company, but it's not important to the people that need the internet. So those are the two ways that I started working with Comcast and Paramount Pictures.
Okay, microphone, please state your name and direct your question to the panel.
Hi, my name is Stephanie White-Winters, and I have a question for Ms. Tiffany. You said something about scholarships and grants. I wanted to know, is that only for tech-related programs and businesses? Like, do you support, seniors? Do y'all help with scholarships and grants for college?
So we focus on grants, sponsorships, and contracts. We don't focus on scholarships because scholarships is another company called Scholarly.com, which does amazing that really focuses on students. But we do have grants that people can use for students. Whatever age, whether you're going back to school, high school, or colleges, we do have a database that allows for grants. The grants are not just for technology startups, there are grants for nonprofits, for-profits. People forget that there are grants for for-profit companies, and then sponsorship as well. So we focus on a range.
And I wanted to know, at Morale Dollars we have a graphics shop. I wanted to know, is that something that y'all would invest in? Is it y'all would invest in that?
I used to work a lot with Dobbins. I worked on this program with Xerox called School to Career. We haven't been able to do it because of the difficulties sometimes working with the school district, but we were coming in there and helping them, whether it's get credit or teach them about business. I actually would love to come back because we haven't been there in about 2 years, and we've been doing it for 3 years.
You number one, tell us the worst thing that ever happened to you in your business entrepreneur career, and what characteristic as a person do you think is most important that got you through that? Worst experience, don't make one up, be real. What's the worst experience that ever happened?
Similar is not a Panera Bread, but it's more so of this time of lots of different bad situations, from going to get money from an investor and literally having $5 in my pocket to get there and back and not being able to get home, having to walk home because the bank wasn't closed and I couldn't deposit the check, right? So it's all those little things where you're bouncing around, you're sleeping on the floor, and you're bouncing around the beginning of your business, and then you have no place to stay. So it's a lot of different things, the depression, the highs and lows, you're getting, written about, and you're thinking to yourself, you're excited because it's fresh for your company, but then you're thinking, we didn't get any revenue this month. So it's really that understanding that you have to love what you do. And we spend so much time faking until you make it that we forget to try to really make it. You're getting pressure, you're getting awards, you're getting all these different things, which is great. But when you're faking it so much, you don't know how to ask for help. And it's years of being an entrepreneur and you don't know when to ask for help because you feel like, oh, I got this award, I got this prize, and now I don't know how to ask for help because everybody thinks I'm doing better than I am. So it's being truly honest with what you're good at, what you're not good at, and knowing that what you're not good at, knowing how to hire, how to partner, how to collaborate, how to really grow your business successfully, and all those things that you get, like don't forget to continue to work. I don't care if you get press every day, if you get awards, make sure that you're still working and making sure that you're still taking care of your team, the people that put you there, and not faking it so much that you don't know how to ask for help, and you don't know how to say, I'm good at this or I'm bad at that. We oversell ourselves sometimes as entrepreneurs. Well, I can do everything, I'm the one-stop shop. And then you end up doing nothing because you're trying to sell everything. Get really good at what you're great at. And if you want to add on different services, just make sure that you collaborate and add different people to your team that can actually execute what you're trying to achieve.
What's your secret sauce? What makes up the magic? Tell us in 30 seconds your secret formula for success.
So my secret sauce is I truly do me. Right? I do everything that I love to do and I mix it in one. I would say I work in the intersection of tech, community, and entertainment.
All right. Let's give a warm round of applause to all. Make a left and get your lunch, but then go to room B.
But you know, I can write down. Yeah, I'll be here.